Hi classmates and professor. Today for chapter 9, we were told to discuss a few things on defense mechanisms or defense producing behaviors. The first question is which behavior, which defense producing behavior affect you the most when used by another person? So mine would be, it'd be a flee mechanism, and it's to react as if nothing happened. I hate that. My stepmom actually used to do that to me, and she would just like we'd be yelling for like 10 minutes, and then I would walk away and come back, and she'd just act as if nothing happened, or as if there was nothing that bothered her, or and I was just expected to get over it, even though I was told I was in the wrong. I can't do that. I gotta work it out all the way, find a solution or something, in order to be okay with the problem. So that's what defense mechanism bothers me the most. Um, it affects me this way because I think that with my mom, my biological mother, if some of you guys have um, seen my past videos or my past discussions, you know about her. I know the professor does. Um, you, my mom would just kind of like shut me out, and she didn't really talk about it. She just kind of like continued on with her life as if I wasn't there. So that really like growing up in that kind of environment kind of triggers me a little bit. I want to figure out like what is the problem. Um, my go-to defense mechanism response would be a fight mechanism. My go-to fight mechanism, or defense mechanism, I mean, is a fight mechanism that would be verbal aggression. I am Portuguese, Irish, and Italian, naturally loud. Sometimes I'm often asked why I'm screaming, even if I'm just talking. I don't really realize that I'm yelling. But when I'm very angry and I feel like I have no control over the situation, I tend to just get louder and louder and louder because, like it says in the book, he who yells the loudest wins. I've always tried to be louder than the person that I'm arguing with. Just because if I feel like I'm quieter, they're not hearing me over what they're saying. So I just get louder and louder and louder and louder, even though I'm not hearing them over them what I'm saying, because I don't really care to listen. And I think that has more to do with like my anger and not being listened to when I was younger. Um, I think that that's what that has to do with. Um, who puts me in defense mode most of the time? Actually, for a few months now, since I've been back here with my foster parents, I have not had to be in like defense mode. I don't really get like that anymore. It was more in the environment that I was in that I didn't feel comfortable, that people would make me feel like I had to be in the defense mode. And that would have to be like my stepmom when I lived with my dad, my mom when I lived with my mom, and my ex when I lived with her and her family sometimes. I believe that the reason that this happened with these people is because my mom would, like I said, shut me out. My dad didn't really talk to me, so we didn't really have that many problems. My stepmom always made me feel like I was wrong. And sometimes I felt like my opinion didn't matter, so I didn't really voice my opinion. But when I did, I was being defensive about something. So the fact that she always put me down made me feel like there was always something wrong with me. And my ex, because she was just emotionally abusive, and I mean, I can't say I'm all, goody two shoes and everything. Like, I have my moments where I do things that are like not okay. But we all have that kind of thing. I mean, sometimes I get defensive even if I know that I'm like right and I'm not like in the wrong. But sometimes when I'm even in the wrong, I still get defensive just because I don't want to get in trouble. But yeah, um, the fight mechanism that I use, like I said, would be verbal aggression. I just get louder and louder to drown out what other people are saying. Um, I believe I use this method because I just like to feel like they're hearing what I'm saying because I'm used to not being heard. I, I just want to get louder and louder and louder so they can hear me. Um, so the flee/flight mechanism that I use would be displacement, where you take it out on something else rather than the attacker. I have had a really bad anger problems in the past. Um, I used to get in fights a lot, uh, and when I couldn't fight, well, not necessarily a lot, more like with my siblings. I've gotten in a few fights at school, like 2 or 3. I'm not proud of them at all. Like, that's not who I want to be today. But I used to. That was like, I was in a very unsafe area. I always felt like, like at home, I didn't have a great life. And so I kind of like took it out at school. And so, yeah. And then, when I can't physically do something about it, if like, somebody else is like not really in the wrong, like enough for me, like I never initiate the fights. Um, Except for when me and my brothers used to fight. They just kind of like, they'd know I'm mad and stuff, and we just like play fight at first, and then it would start getting like serious. And so like when I was younger, I also used to punch things. And sometimes I still do that. Like I don't punch my pillow because it makes me more mad that I'm not doing anything to it, which is, I guess that's not really healthy. I just kind of like, I try to work out, or I try to, I need a punching bag. So yeah, I feel like that's the flight mechanism that I use. I love the TED Talks that we have to watch every week. I love them. I love watching the TED Talks. And I was so excited about this one. And when I click on it, I'm like, okay, he's going to build up to something. And it's just like, he's going to pretend to be funny at first. But the entire thing was just nothing. Like, that's all he talked about was nothing. And I thought that was so funny. I don't really know what there is to reflect on, but it was awesome. I loved it. That was funny. I needed it.